but we're delighted to have somebody on the phone right now that I've been a fan of for many years. This man has done a lot of stuff in music, man. He has done it a lot. Singer, bassist, multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter, producer, entertainment executive. Let's get him on the line right now. My friends, let's go ahead and introduce the man, the myth, the legend, Jean Beauvoir. Hello, my friend. Beauvoir.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? How are you?
I'm good.
You sound good.
Yeah, everything's good. Just in the studio doing a little work, and that's it.
You're down there in sunny Florida.
Yeah, it's been pretty sunny, I have to say, the past couple of days.
Yeah,
we had a lot of rain.
You must have given it to us. We just have had 100-degree days, and now we've got a little rainy weather going on in Southern Oregon, but hey, we're not complaining.
Hey, I know. You got to have both, you know.
You know, I've been a fan of yours since the days that you were with the Plasmatics. That's how I was introduced to you. And I was a friend of Wendy O, so I've been with you since about that time. And I want to know, are you still working with Crown of Thorns, your band Crown of Thorns?
Yeah, I mean, I still do things with Crown of Thorns, even though I've been kind of focusing on my solo things right now and doing everything as Jean Beauvoir, because it just kind of got to the point where it's Crown of Thorns, VOODOO X, and people wanted to hear things from the solo record, and people, you know, on tour, people wanted to hear from different things. So I figured, you know, let me go back out as Jean Beauvoir and play excerpts of my career. You know, everything. I play a little Plasmatics, some Crown of Thorns, some VOODOO X, solo stuff, songs I wrote for kids. I actually throw in a couple of Ramones songs I wrote, and you know, the whole thing. So they get kind of a little journey.
Well, you know, people don't know that you played bass on a lot of Kiss albums, and you played on the Ramones records and written for these bands. And it's just, you know, they called James Brown the hardest working man in show business, but I beg to differ.
Well, you might be right. I tell you, I definitely, you know, I've done quite a bit of work. You know, I've been involved in a lot of things, and I just keep busy. You know, it's music. It's my passion. It's what I love, and you know, I'm still into it as much as I was, and I'm just rocking away.
Well, you know, again, it's for the folks that don't know, you started out, I think, if I'm correct, if I'm not, forgive me, but you started at age 14 as the musical director for Gary U.S. Bonds, right? Yes,
That was a crazy one. You know, I was in a junior high school rock band. Actually, it was a pretty interesting concept now that they're School of Rock, and I ended up writing songs for School of Rock. But I had a teacher in junior high school, you know, that basically, you know, talked me into doing a little program after school with kids, and that's basically to a rock band. That's it. So we'd have different, you know, singers, different drummers that would play, and then I kept it going that summer and played around Long Island, where I was living at the time. And Gary U.S. Bond's manager saw us play, came over to me and said, "Hey, I like you. Do you want to go on tour? How old are you?" I said, 18.
Wow.
And he said, "Okay, all right." And he said, "I'm coming to Gary's house this week, and if he likes you and everything, well, here we go." And then that's exactly what happened. And next thing you know, I was, you know, in a truck on the way to Florida.
So you said you were 18, but you were only 14, right?
That's right.
That's awesome. You did it your way, man. Ran off with the circus.
Exactly. We found out eventually, but it still worked out.
And you also sang with the Flamingos. Can you tell us like what song or two the Flamingos are kind of known for? I like the Flamingos, but I can't remember, and to be honest, off the top of my head.
It's an old doo-wop group, and
yeah.
I kind of got connected with them because with Gary we were doing that all these circuit, you know, the whole Platters and
Dick Clark,
Dick Clark, different groups. Dick Clark, exactly. We were doing Dick Clark tours, and next thing you know, the Flamingos were looking for a singer, you know, and I said, "Hey, I'll do it."
Wow.
I was definitely the youngest one in that. But, you know, to me, it was a great experience. They had I Only Have Eyes for You with them.
I only have eyes for you.
Right.
That's awesome.
And it was, you know, it was great training for me because you went from, like, first starting in a rock band, and next thing you know, you're crooning, basically. You know, to people in Vegas. You know?
That is super cool.
You know, and I'm singing with these guys who are, you know, amazing guys at harmonies. One guy singing bass notes, and the other guy, you know, tenors, everything. It was just fantastic. You know, it was a great thing for your mental archive, your musical archive.
Right.
You can pull from later. You know, next thing you know, you're pulling out, you know, harmonies from those days and putting them into your rock records.
That is so cool, man. I love doo-wop music, so I'm very familiar with the Flamingos, just not like I am, say, the Plasmatics. But I love that stuff, man, you know.
Well,
Then you, skipping ahead, you're in New York City at some point, and I'm guessing late 70s, and you answered an ad to join a band, and that band ended up being the Plasmatics, of course, with Wendy O. Williams.
that's right. That's right. You know, after I went through a lot of things, believe it or not, it's hard to imagine how much we actually go through at that young age. But Flamingos, Gary was Bonds, you know, getting kicked out of my house because I was playing music. My dad didn't like it, and the whole thing. And then I found myself in downtown New York City singing with a band called NYN. And we opened for the Plasmatics. The band wasn't, you know, big yet, but it was a little club. And we opened, and next thing you know, a couple of weeks later, I saw an ad for the band as a bass player. And, you know, I played different instruments, so I had already moved around. I started as a drummer, I played bass, and the guitar, you know. And the next thing you know, after the audition and everything, they called me and said, if you want the gig, you've got it.
Wow.
Next thing you know, here you go. I'm in punk rock.
Now you're doing punk rock. That's great, man.
Punk rock heaven, blonde mohawk, and, you know.
Yeah, that was kind of when the trademark mohawk came along, right?
That's where it all started.
I thought so. Yeah, I mean, and it works for you. It works.
Yeah, it's great. I was a rebel. I believed in self-expression, and already from the beginning, I was doing things, you know, differently, and, you know, playing different music than maybe it was expected from me, you know, and I think the band's message overall of self-expression, being rebels, and, you know, and it was just the right message and the right thing for me to be a part of.
That is so rad. I mean, honestly, man, I can't think of a word. It's so Gary U.S. Bonds kind of stuff to the Flamingos, to the Plasmatics. That is just so musically diverse that it's amazing. Did you have a mohawk first, or did Wendy O. Williams have a mohawk first?
I had it first, before her. She followed us.
Wow.
So it was Richie and I, and then Wendy came in after with her mohawk.
Now, what year was your hawk? Because I know Darby Crash had a hawk in the late 70s in L.A., but I wonder what year your hawk was.
Actually, I had kind of a semi-hawk even before I joined the Plasmatics. I had kind of a skunk look. So I had already started, you know,
That's so
messing around with it in, like, you know, 78 or something. But in Plasmatics, it was end of 79, 80 when we got that together to the mohawk.
Amazing.
79, 80. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I remember, you know, vividly getting Beyond the Valley of 1984, the very first Plasmatics album, and just being, before I got to know Wendy as a friend, I was just a big, huge fan going, wow, now these guys are amazing, you know.
And that was the second record, because we had done New Hope for the Wretched before that.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's right. New Hope for the Wretched is what I meant to say. And the very first with the swimming pool on the cover with the car.
Right, exactly. Yep,
But
yep.
and then of course the Metal Priestess was another one that I really enjoyed, and I know you played on at least a couple of tunes on that, right?
That's right. Yeah, that was just about when I left the band, but, you know, yes, I still played on a couple of songs on that record.
Was it pretty wild, obviously, to be in that band?
Yeah, it was a wild experience. It was a lot of fun. You know, I mean, the fans were just so fantastic. It was like, you know, such intense fans. You know, I mean, they were really super fans. You know, and the show was just so thrilling every night that it was like, you know, it had you really on the edge of your seat. You know, every time you got on that stage, you didn't know where things were going to land, and, you know, hoods from cars, you know, coming down. It was so organized in those days with the way we did pyro and everything.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny. I actually just got a text from Pyro Pete, who was our pyro guy back in those days and became a very good pyro guy in Las Vegas.
Yeah, I'm familiar with him from the history.
You are?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
it was wild. Yeah, it was wild. Every night was wild and a new experience. You got to meet fantastic people. And we worked hard. I mean, the band, when we weren't on tour, people, you know, maybe wouldn't believe it, but we were rehearsing all day long. You know, the manager kind of had this philosophy that, you know, look at this like this is a 9-to-5 job. You know, and we're going to rehearse every day. I don't care what you're rehearsing. Just rehearse. We're going to rehearse every day. So we worked really hard, that band. And when we toured hard.
Yeah, Rod Swenson. Yeah, I actually got to meet Rod one time backstage at a show because Wendy kind of introduced me to Rod, actually.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and I think he's still in Connecticut, I believe.
I believe so. I haven't seen him or spoken to him for a while, but that's the last thing I heard.
I keep losing you. You're kind of fading in and out a little bit. Hopefully I can keep...
Am I?
Just a little bit.
Low as well. How about now?
Yeah, that sounds good.
We good? Okay, I'll try to
What
see it staying in one spot.
What made you leave the Plasmatics, can I ask?
Yeah. You know, for one thing, I really wanted to be a solo artist, and it just got to the point where I kind of felt that the band was going in a direction like I felt we had almost done as much as we could really do. It was like, you know how it is where it's always like, what's the next thing you're going to do? What are you going to blow up next? How big is it going to get? What are you going to do? and the band started to kind of head into a metal, you know.
They did. It was really metal.
You know, and I kind of felt that it was, you know, for me, losing a little bit of the originality, and I thought it wasn't really going to, you know, go that well after that. So I just felt it was time for me to move on.
Well, and then you joined Little Steven and the Disciples of Soul. Of course, Little Steven of Bruce Springsteen fame.
That's right.
And you did a couple albums with those guys, right?
Yeah, Steven was great. You know, he was pretty much when I left the Plasmatics, I wanted to do a solo record, but the label, nobody would touch me. You know, they pretty much said, if you want to blow up cars, that's great. But if you're telling us that you want to sing, we're not interested. So, you know, I had a couple of offers. Prince out of nowhere came and made me the first offer, actually, after I left the Plasmatics. And also I was speaking to Billy Idol and Steve Stevens, who were good friends at that time, and they were saying, why don't you come on board with us? But I really wanted to do a solo record, but I ran into Steven, who was producing Gary U.S. Bonds with Bruce Springsteen.
Ah.
So this is a really small world that the same manager that found me for Gary Bonds, we got back in touch after I left the Plasmatics, and he says to me, you know, I think you and Steven really hit it off. I got together with Steven, played him some of the stuff, and he said, I love this stuff. He said, but John, I think you're going to have a really difficult time, you know, proving to people that you've got musical credibility, you know what I mean? So he said, you know, why don't you come along with me? I'm taking a break from Bruce, and I'm doing this Disciples of Soul project. And he says, why don't you come do this with me for a while? And I think that people will see you differently. And then from there, you can go pursue what you want to go do.
Well,
That's exactly what I did.
Really kind of losing you, John. I'm sorry to say. It's kind of sounding kind of bad. Darn it. You have a lot to say, and I love it.
Should I call back in?
No, I think right there you sound good all of a sudden.
We'll just keep plugging away.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just keep trying our best.
Okay, all right.
Sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
No problem. So I don't know if you heard that pretty much. So, you know, Steven said, why don't you come along with me? And I really think that it's going to be, you know, it's going to help, you know, give you some musical credibility. And I think then you can kind of go do what you want to do. And he was, you know, a great mentor, great friend. And so I did that. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. I stayed with him for a while, and then I moved on.
I'm still hearing in my head the possibility of you playing bass on with the rebel yell, he cried more.
I gotta say that they made a great record. I mean, I love those guys. They're fantastic, and they're still fantastic. They're still out there touring and doing it.
Yeah, that would have been kind of neat if you would have ended up playing with Billy Idol.
I know. You know, it would have been fun. It would have been fun. You know, it's just, you know how it is. You're young, you're ambitious, you know what you want, and you didn't want to be, you know, kind of pigeonholed in a certain situation. And I said, I really want to, you know, be known for doing my own stuff, and I better get to it. You know, it's funny how you're that young, but somehow you feel like time's rolling and you're almost out of time.
Yeah.
You know, John, I know just in reading a little bit about your background, you've been involved in both sides of the industry, like, you know, the business side, producing. I mean, you name it, you've kind of at least dabbled in just about every part of, you know, the music industry there is to. Would you say that it's kind of served you well as an artist to have kind of seen both sides of the, you know, of the coin, so to speak, as opposed to artists who, you know, kind of get scammed, I guess, is the way.
Yeah, I think it, you know, and that kind of Steven, it started with Steven. Actually, you know, when I left the Plasmatics, it was I had met David Lee Roth, who came to one of the shows.
I read that he was the one who advised you.
In a way, you know, we just went out. He took me out. We went out to a couple of clubs, and he's like, man, you must be doing great on merchandising, and you guys are just killing it. And to be honest with you, there were some things that weren't as they should be. And we were so young. I was so young that I didn't know just joining Steven, and then when I met my manager, Gary Kerphurst, I really started, learning a lot about the business end of it, how to protect your interests and, making deals and everything. And I got pretty good at it to the point, where I ended up running, Steven Van Zandt's Renegade Nation. I was the CEO of the company when I took a break for a while. So I did that for like 6.5 years. But no, it definitely served me well because there are a lot of things that, a lot of mistakes that artists make, whether it be owning your catalog,
Sure.
all these, what kind of deals to make. There's so many nuances that a lot of people just don't, unfortunately don't know about. And so it really did help me. It does help me.
Well, good. And I would think that it would, you hear the story so many times of, artists just kind of getting the raw end of the deal. And it would be nice if I think people, kind of educated themselves and dabbled in both sides so that doesn't happen as often.
I think it's really important. I think I always have this little saying that I always kind of say as a joke, and I always say, it's the music business, and without any business, there's no music.
Right.
Smart man. He's John has written and produced with acts such as Kiss, the Ramones, John Waite, Nona Hendrix, the Pretenders, Deborah Harry, Lionel Richie, NSYNC, just so many different types of music. It's amazing, man. Also, you've appeared on over 100 albums over the last couple decades. That's amazing.
I know. It's just, it's just the years just go by. It's funny how you think back that days of Hendrix and all the Doors and everything. These careers were like just a few years, that they lasted. And I think back at how many years you've been doing this, and it's crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, time flies.
It just piles up. The years just go by, and next thing you know, it's more albums, it's more things. And I'm still discovering records that I'm on or featured on, compilations that you actually didn't even know about. Because fortunately, a lot of the bands that I worked with back in those days, like Kiss and the Ramones, they release a lot of albums, and they continuously do a lot of compilations where they put your songs on new records.
That's good. That's awesome.
People cover songs of yours. I mean, just 3 days ago, I just found another 4 bands that covered some songs that I didn't know about.
Wow. And then you get a check in the mail. What's this for? Oh yeah. Awesome. I love these covers.
Exactly.
That's awesome, man.
I know.
Well, you earned it. You've like you said, it's a music business. It's cool because a lot of rockers are just like, and God bless them, but some of them are just musicians. They don't have that, man, and they're the ones going, hey, can I borrow $1 to go get a bag of chips? And you're like going, hey, I got this down, man. Both sides.
Well, listen. You're always fighting, the industry in a lot of ways because things change a lot, and as you've seen, things have happened. Things have gone to streaming. The records don't sell the way they do. So deals are always changing. So you have to try to stay on top of things. But it's something I would always suggest to musicians to always, try to be educated a little bit in your business because that's how you'll manage to stay in it.
That's right. Words of wisdom, and I wish we had a better connection, and I'd love to have you on the show down the road if you're ever, down for that down the road. Want to say,
of course.
Yeah, thanks. You've been so accessible tonight for us. We're big fans. And is there anything that you'd like to talk about before we end, man, that you want to tell people about or anything?
Well, I'm working on a new solo record right now. I'm just right in the creative process of it right now, so I'm just writing. But just keep your eyes and ears open because there's some new stuff coming, and as always, I'll probably be writing with more artists, and I'm still active and rocking, and there's some great things coming.
That is awesome. Yeah, it's such an honor to talk to you, man. It's really been a pleasure.
Thank you. Same here.
Thanks for all your great videos and music and albums and for being a part of the show tonight, man. It's been a good time.
We've really enjoyed having you on.
Thanks for having me on, both of you. Okay, enjoy your time over there.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an interview with John BEAUVOIR. Give it up.
All right, what a pronunciation.
Yeah.
All right.
You have a great evening, my friend.
Okay, you too.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye.
Bye.